you're handcuffed to a steering wheel for some crazy reason with plastic zip ties and you got shoes on, I'm going to show you how to get out of that. Hello world, Will White here, Pike Antler Project, giving you an evolution of the last pro tip I gave you, how to escape restraints if you're strapped to a steering wheel. This is a little bit faster, but just like, you know, needing a belt on the last video, this one you definitely need shoelaces or some sort of cordage, but in this case we're going to focus on shoelaces. So if you're handcuffed to a steering wheel for some crazy reason with plastic zip ties and you got shoes on, I'm going to show you how to get out of that. First, I need to zip tie myself. If you're doing this, have a backup knife, something you can reach. You gotta cut yourself out, or have a friend with you. Because if you get stuck here, you're in some trouble. Now, I could very likely, you know, like on the last video, make two fists, push them together and pry, and I could very likely, you know, if you're quick or strong enough, come here and just yank against the steering wheel. Pretty confident that would work, and I'm gonna try that out. If I have a crappy car somewhere, I got a junkyard, I might try it out. I don't want to jack on my steering wheel. It's a lot of force. So that might be an option. You know, kind of just come here and yank the crap out of it, trying to bust the nut where everything ties together on the zip tie. That's what you want to focus on. But here, we're gonna go shoelaces. Okay. So what you don't want to do is tie end to end, and I'll show you here in a second, up close. You'll want to tie the end of one shoelace close to the beginning of the other shoelace. Okay, so if I tie these together at the end, when I'm trying to go back and forth on the zip tie, that knot's gonna get in the way because it's in the dead center. So we're gonna just pick one side. I'll pick my right side, that's the short side. I'm just gonna tie on to here. So I got the end of my left boot going about a quarter of the way up on my right boot. Cool. And then, of course, you would feed this through your zip ties before you did all this. But essentially what you're trying to do is just create enough, that gets hot quick, enough room to move. And of course, you know, maybe it's a small car. You may have to readjust and tie this shorter because you don't have room to move. Of course, first, so maybe you want to feed this through your zip ties. A good thing about these shoelaces, you know, we covered this in another video. This is survival cord shoelaces. So it's relatively stiff. It's got snare wire, fishing line, fire jute, a few things in there other than that. But the good thing in this case is it's pretty stiff, so I can feed it through much easier. It's not as floppy as, you know, a regular shoelace. Okay. So I got it fed through. That's just right there. Tie it on. Doing a square, left over right, right over left. And those of you that don't bother to learn knots, probably should, because they can be useful, especially in this situation. If you don't know how to tie a knot, just in general, try tying it with your hands zip tied. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is create some tension upward. Use this for support. I'm just gonna push with my feet and go back and forth. That actually took quite a while. That's how easy it is. Very effective. I don't care how young you are or how weak you are. I mean, if you're 85, 90, if you're just, you know, if you're really old and not too strong anymore, I still think you would have the strength to do that. It may take you 3 or 4 minutes, but it will eventually melt the zip tie. So that's what's causing the break, is it's just being melted. So the friction and the pressure and the movement causes this to overheat and pop off. All right, so this is take 2. You saw how effective that was. but just to make this more quality, I'm gonna do it a second time and give myself less slack on the shoelaces. So before I probably had 2.5 feet. Now I probably have a total of 1 foot. Reason you want less room in this situation is, you know, if you're in a smaller vehicle or you just don't have the physical strength to hold your hands up and push with your feet because you're kind of fighting one another. But from here, if I lean back, like my arms aren't going to go any farther, right? I don't have to use my muscle to hold it up. Okay, there we go. So that's where I would like to be. So now I don't have to move quite as much because I have so little slack in my shoelaces, which is a good thing in this crowded situation. So again, I'm going to go ahead and, you don't have to do this, but it's a good habit to form, get that friction. Now you'll see how much faster this is. All right, so here's a little pro tip for you, a little bonus tip. If you're in a situation, maybe you're lost out in the streets, you're in kind of an urban situation, and you're worried about someone stealing your stuff, just do a double knot on your shoes. So if someone is, super sly and trying to untie your boots, and maybe steal your shoes, it makes it a lot more difficult for them to do it without alarming you. So go ahead and do a double knot. Thanks for watching. Stay alive as long as you can.